Hey guys, so we're going to be talking about verbals today. So verbals are words that are created from a verb, like to run, or like run, or jump, or write, but act like a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. All right. So they come in three different flavors. They're going to be, you can either have a gerund, a participle, or an infinitive, and we have the shortened form of it right here in terms of what you're marking it as if you were breaking down a sentence. So a gerund is a verb that acts like a noun. Okay. It always ends in ing. And it can either be the subject of a sentence, the direct object of a sentence, or the object of the preposition. So we haven't talked about those kinds of pieces of it yet, but I'm going to give you kind of a brief rundown of it before we get to the kind of pieces of a sentence. Because when you're working on the gerund stuff in IXL, it's going to ask you for the function of the gerund, and it's going to be one of these things. Okay, so the subject is the main focus of the sentence. It's the person acting or the thing that is being focused on. The direct object is what is being focused on by the subject. And the object of the preposition is always just going to come after a preposition. So those are probably the easiest to find. So when you're looking at a gerund, you need to think about, is it what the whole sentence is about? Is it being acted on by what the whole sentence is about? Or does it come after a preposition? So if we look at this first example, reading is fun. Okay, so reading is my gerund, and it's what the sentence is about, right? Fun is telling me more about reading. So I know that reading is going to be my subject. I enjoy shopping. Okay, I is the subject of that sentence. It's the person doing the action. Shopping is acting on that, is what that person is acting on. So it would be the direct object. Okay, use pencils. I use pencils for drawing. For is a preposition. So we know that drawing has to be the object of the preposition. So remember when we were doing that, when we were looking for prepositions and then finding their object, that's what's happening right here. So these should be easy, right? The subject, then you just have to decide if it's a subject or an object. Okay, is it the main part of the sentence, or is it being acted on by the main part of the sentence? A participle is a verb that acts like an adjective. It ends in ing or ed or any other kind of past tense ending if you have one of the more irregular verbs. Like I have running shoes. Running here is telling me more about shoes. It's not an action, right? The action here actually is have. Okay, that's the verb. So running is just telling me more about what kind of shoes they are. So that means that running here is a participle, not a gerund. Okay, because it's not a noun. Frightened, I ran down the street. Okay, frightened is my past tense verb, but again, ran is the actual verb here. Okay, so it's telling me more about me or I in this sentence. So it's an adjective. Okay, how am I? I'm frightened. Or this last one, it's an unspoken rule. Okay, is in this contraction would be my verb as opposed to unspoken. Rule, this is telling me more about what kind of a rule it is, right? So it's an adjective. The last ones are infinitives, and it's to plus a verb, and they can act like a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. The big thing with infinitives that makes them easy to find is they're always to plus a verb. To eat, to run, to write. So those are, I think, the easiest to find out of all of them. Okay. Sometimes what gets tricky is figuring out if it's a gerund or if it's a participle, because they can both end in ing. But remember, gerunds act like nouns, participles act like adjectives. Okay. If you got any questions, we'll be practicing this on IXL. You guys will be having a quiz on the parts of speech next week, so be prepared for that. Then we'll move on to sentence parts and sentence phrases. So we're moving along pretty well here in terms of our grammar. We're just going to keep kind of plugging along. We'll keep, you'll keep having to figure out these parts of speech. So don't forget them, right? Keep those notes somewhere handy, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.